back, everybody. Welcome back to Freedom Algo. I am going live. Oh, I'm actually early. A little bit early. Let me just let everybody know that I'm live. All right. Matt, good to see you. Good to see you. All right, so we got a pretty aggressive move here, so I'm going to talk about this in a second. Wait for everybody to hop in, wait for everyone's notifications to go off, all that stuff. Yeah, thanks, brother. Hope you're having a good day. Hope everybody is having a good day. Hope everybody had a great trading day. Today I had what I would call a one and done trading day. I took one trade. It was fast. I exited. And then after that trade, I took two more on Sim. And the reason I took some trades on Sim, and I told everybody in my paid community that I was doing that, I had a whole debacle this morning, so I was like not mentally in the best place for trading. So I was like, I gotta chill. So let's move this over here. Good morning. Good to see you, Traderator. Good to see you, Jackie. Good to see you, D. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. If you haven't done so already, please give the stream a like. And definitely subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And I'm going to wait just a couple of minutes, and then I'll get into talking about the trades for today and everything going on. I don't want to start if not everybody's here yet. So I'm going to give it a couple of minutes. Project Panic, good to see you as always. I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. So you can kind of see, I had this channel. Now, I will say, originally I had this channel drawn like this, off of that high. I'm wondering if this is an overshoot here, because when I try to stretch it to the highs, it kind of, I don't like where the midline ends up being. I mean, it sort of still works. It's one of those ones where it's like, maybe it was an overshoot. Because originally I was thinking that it was gonna... honestly, that might just be an overshoot. That might be what that is. It ended up shooting back in the other direction. But that could be what we have there, is a big overshoot. So I'm just going to leave it like that as a possibility, and we'll just let it ride. Even on an overshoot, though, when you break out the bottom of the channel, you do expect a new high to still be made. Now, the funny thing today is that we had this big down channel earlier, and we never got a new low on it. So it seems like we're still trying to do that. We had this little range here, broke above. Was that a measured move of the range? Yeah, that was a measured move of this range. So that's all that was. We ended up hitting it and coming back. Now we're back above, so it doesn't look like this range is really going to come into play. We got the double midline here. This midline is off the bigger channel that I have from up here. So basically, if I zoom out, you can see the whole day. You know, we're basically hanging out in between this crazy chaotic price action that happened at the end of the day yesterday. So you can see here, this is the overnight low, this is the overnight high. And we've really just been hanging out inside there. We haven't been able to make it back to the overnight lows. So there seems to be some strength here. The all-time high is this blue line, which looks like we might even try to get there. So we'll see. This is such a weird move right here. This one, just boom, boom. Just a very odd move there. It's also possible that this is like, that there already is a close outside. There's not really a way to draw this trend line. I might honestly have to draw this trend line off of here because it's just not, you can't really fit the price action properly. from the high because the way that this formed. So I think that this might already be a close and a move to a new low. Just because it doesn't really fit any other way. And then this is its own little channel to come back up. All right. So let's get into the setups for the day. I will tell everybody, if you want to humor me for a second, this morning, the reason I only took one trade today and then I only took sim after that was because my routine was thrown super off. I usually wake up around 5 or 5:30. So I woke up at 5:30 today, ready for the day, super excited, got ready, walked. While I was in the bathroom, it was like I had been up for maybe a minute. I heard my dog barking, and I'm like, that is super weird. Why is he barking? So then I came downstairs, and I was like, what is that smell? And then I look around, and there's just dog vomit all over my house, everywhere. So basically, I spent, like, no joke, probably 45 minutes just cleaning up. Like, I didn't even get to the chart and open up NinjaTrader until probably, I don't know, 6:20, like 10 minutes before the open. I was like super thrown off in my routine. Whatever time it was, 6:15, 6:20, it was way later than normal. So my whole routine was thrown off. I couldn't do any of my stuff that I usually do in the morning. And so I just knew that I wasn't going to be in the right state of mind. I had to take the dog for like an early morning walk, all that stuff. Yeah, it was a whole thing. So anyway, he's in the office with me right now. I'm hoping that he's okay and that he doesn't do it in here because this is a small space, but he seems fine now. But what a morning. So anyway, that's just wanted to give you guys the rundown of why I only took one trade today and then switched to a sim. And the sim was only just because I was still talking to the paid community and I wanted to show them some spots where there might be some setups and whatnot. But when you don't have, this is an important note before I get into the rest of the trading. When you don't have like your morning routine the way that it should be, and you don't have the prep time to get your mental state where it should be, it's somewhat dangerous to trade, and you have to be really aware of that sort of stuff. So that's what's going on today. All right. Anyway, here's what we had. We had a pullback, first entry long, pullback, second entry long, but this is your signal bar, this red one. And you get an inside bar here. So when it breaks up here, I consider this like a second entry long. This is a close outside and a new low, so this short-term channel had played out. Now we do have this up channel close outside new high, but it could have formed a spike in channel. So when it gave you this next higher low here with a higher low after a second entry long, it's a reasonable one to take if you saw this as a spike in channel forming. But it is a little risky because we did make a new high and it could reverse on you there. And you could end up with a second entry short that actually goes lower. So you don't know for sure there, but the short-term channel had played out. So playing the trend line rules, it is a reasonable trade to take. Now that's pre-market, 5:30. I wasn't here yet, obviously, but there it is. After that, it comes up. You get a close outside and a move to a new high, and then one more leg up to a new high, and then it reverses. So I saw this as a close outside of this channel. New high, another new high. It gets within one tick of the all-time high and reverses on us. Now, this is an interesting one. I wanted to talk about this. I didn't take this trade right here, but this is an interesting one. So this is right after the open. It's like 8 minutes, not even 8 minutes after the open. And so there is a possibility here. So if you draw, oops, I pressed the wrong button. My bad. If you draw a trend line here as an example, it was possible that our trend line, that our channel was actually wider from this low, touching this level, touching this open, and then basically getting this level, and then this is the close outside. it's possible that that was the wider spike in channel. I didn't look at it like that, but it is possible. And if that's the case, then this would be a close outside of that, and you would expect a new high. And this is a short-term downtrend that has played out, because you have this move down, first entry, second entry. So there is a second entry long there with the short-term down channel playing out. But I saw this as we already made a new high, so I didn't think it was worth going long there. And so I didn't love that. If you went long there, I understand why you would. The higher low here, that comes too late. You can't take that at that point. It's already made the scalp. Now, both of those look like they work, but I don't think that they're safe. Now, at that point, when it reversed here, I drew a down channel off of the swing. I eventually moved it very slightly to here when we had this close. But you can see I had this swing, this down channel down. Now, I had to keep making the lows of this lower. All right, and then we came down. Divvy, I don't know what day it was. I think I talked about it in the live stream though. So you'd have to go back and watch my live streams. I forget, but I talked about it in a live stream recently, whatever it was. All right. So then we come down, and we come off the lows. We come off these lows. Now at this point, I think you can establish that there's a nice little down channel working. The midline is pretty decent. And then you get this setup here, which this is a triple test of this level. It's a little bit of a bearish bar. It qualifies. I think it does, actually. Yeah, it's a 12-tick bar. And it closes 4 ticks from its low. So it's pretty much exactly the lower 1/3. Anyway. Comes down, and it's basically like 2 legs back. You can't really see it here, but if I draw one, I drew that wrong. Hold on. See how that's perfectly 2 legs? Here, let me zoom in. From the low to the high, and then from the low to the high, it's an exactly 2-legged pullback. Exactly. Now, it's technically not a second entry because this low is lower than this one. But it's clearly a 2-legged pullback to the EMA. So there's some reasons to like that. It's right below the EMA. It's a bearish bar. It's lower. This high is lower than this one. It's a triple test. If you look at this, this, and this, it's a triple test. It's a downtrend. So if you took that, it's reasonable. I didn't take that one either. I took this red arrow. So then basically it comes down. And now we get this little uptrend. Let me shrink this a bit so you can see it. Hang on one second. Sorry, my daughter needed some help with something. Or had a question, I mean. Sorry about that. Alright, so anyway, we had this little up channel here. And basically there's a first entry, second entry short here. But you can't, this is still within this up channel. You don't want to short yet. I don't even know if it qualifies anyway. But it doesn't matter because you get an inside bar anyway. So you can't take this when you get the inside bar. So you wait, it closes outside, it makes the new high. And then you get this lower high, and this is pretty much what you want to see. So at this point, you have 1, 2, 3, 4. This is a 5th test of this level. It's basically another triple test. It's a lower high also, closes below the EMA. It's really bearish bar. So I took this trade, and basically I set my order. This candle pushed up. This one opened here, pushed up real quick, and then just dumped down. So I got filled really fast. And I just took a 5-tick scalp on my whole position, and that was that. And that was the end of my trading day for my actual actual account. And then after that, I just traded I took like 2 more trades that were just on the simulator after that. Because after I took that trade, I was like, all right, I'm going to be one and done there because I'm just feeling a little bit off. after everything that had gone on this morning. So this closes outside now. This is more of a close outside, because originally the way I had this drawn, it was kind of like this, but that's not really a close outside. So I looked at it like this: close outside, you get this up channel here, close outside, new high, lower high. I don't think you want to take a lower high yet, but then there's a trap here. Now this trap I took on the sim to show how it works. Basically what you get here is you have a new high and you get a first entry. So first entry here, and above this bearish bar, above the bearish bar, is a second entry long. And so I think what happened here, this is a trap, because you have all these people who tried to short below this. Now it comes, so they're all, people are shorting below this lower high and they get pushed down. They probably have their stops up here. And then people go long above this off the EMA. They're taking this like, oh, we're going to catch a pullback and go to the highs. They're thinking we're going to the all-time highs there. So what ends up happening is I set my stop order one tick below this bar, because above this bar is a second entry long. It's not a good signal bar for a second entry long. So I have my stop order sitting one tick below this. Whoops. And then what happens is people are going long there. They're trapped here. It starts to dump down. It fills my order here. It does end up coming up against me a little bit, but then it comes down. And it's because they're trapped there. So they all have to start exiting their positions, all the people who are long. And then they get dumped right there. So it's just a failed second entry long, basically, that forms below the EMA there. Yeah, Shelly, if the signal bar, so no, it's not if the signal bar is an inside bar, it's if you get an inside bar. So here, let me go back to where that trade was that I was talking about. All right, this one. So let's say you were going to go short here. And this green bar is your signal bar. So let's say you're going for a first entry, second entry short. Well, we enter on a stop order right here, one tick below the bar. So, and our stop loss would go one tick above. So what I always do is I enter a stop order there. When this bar closes, I enter my stop order. So if I'm trying to go short there, which it's not a good idea because the short-term up channel is still in play there. But let's say you wanted to go short there. If the next bar that opens doesn't fill your order and it closes as an inside bar like this, or even if it closes higher, you cancel your order. You don't let it come and fill you on this other bar. The inside bar means that you might have congestion forming. And so you don't take the trade. You cancel the order. That's the reason that entering on stop orders is so nice below the bar, because it only qualifies if we get entered into it on the next bar. If it doesn't, we just cancel the order. That's why people who enter a limit order short somewhere here before they have before this thing broke lower, they're going to take a loss probably a lot of the time. All right. Then we get a triple test here. That's a nice one. 1, 2, 3. Perfect triple test. It's a close outside and new high of the channel. It's only a first entry, but it doesn't really matter because you're trading range rules right there. Because at this point, you would have established that you pretty much have a range going. So that's a decent one. Then we come off the lows. This one is a first entry, second entry short, and failed breakout of the high of the range. And it's not it's only a 6-tick bar. So not a bad one. You get an 8-tick stop loss on that one. Room to the EMA. Pretty easy setup if you got it. But this bar looks like it is one of those bars that opened, dumped, closed. There's no wick on it. So you might have had a hard time getting into that trade unless you were really quick to drop your order. Now at this point you can draw this up channel, because when we bounce here, it's like, well, now we have this low, this close, this close. So when we bounce there, you have to start to wonder, do we have a little bit of an up channel? This is basically like a new low here, because this low goes slightly lower than these double bottom right there. So you can kind of treat this all like a new low down here. And now you have this swing up and you get a first entry, second entry short here. I didn't like this one. It's a failed breakout again of the high of the range, but we already had a failed breakout here and here, and now here. So it's like you can't really treat it like the same as a normal failed breakout. You kind of need to think of this as just a second entry, room to the EMA, but we've established that there might be a bigger uptrend happening. So it's a little risky. There's a lower high, which is always good because the short-term trend has played out and you get a lower high, but it's too much stem on the bottom. And then the second entry long actually happens, which you wouldn't take that either. There's a breakout pullback second entry long, but the short-term trend was in play. Comes up higher. Then we get this high. Now at this point, when we stayed higher here and we were making higher highs and higher lows, I'm thinking, okay, the bias is up right here. So when we come up to here and we get a pullback and we get a first entry and then a pullback second entry long, but the signal bar is not closing in the upper 1/3, and then we get a little higher low right after, and it lets you enter at the same spot you would have entered on the second entry. I took that one on sim because I thought that was a really solid one. It's only a 6-tick bar, so you get an 8-tick stop loss on that. And that was a nice easy trade, which also gives you a nice runner. So that's a good one with a runner. It ends up overshooting the channel. And now we're back down here. There's no shorts in there, unfortunately. All right, let's see what's going on in real time. So now we have this move up. It looks like we get a close outside new high here. Yep. So we can shrink this. It looks like a close outside new high, lower high, no setup below it because it goes sideways. There's another one where if you were looking for the lower high, it doesn't qualify for the signal bar, but if it was bearish enough and you tried to take the lower high there, there's another one where you wouldn't have taken it because the inside bar happens, so you'd cancel your order. So basically, once you get an inside bar that closes as an inside bar, you just cancel the order. Don't let it fill you there because it's risky. And then now we do have possible move up. So this was my original channel. We'll just delete that or shrink that. And so for me, if I zoom out, I have more of a bullish bias overall because if you just look at this, we barely spent any time in the lower half of this range. You know, maybe just a little bit down here, a little bit here. But for the most part, where most of the price action is in the upper half of the range today. So there's a bullish bias here, a bullish imbalance, really. It's not necessarily always making higher highs, higher lows, but there's more of a bullish bias today than a bearish one. So it wouldn't surprise me to see us have a push up to the new all-time high, or at least attempt again. It looks like we're trying here. So that's how I'm looking at this. I'm not going to take any trades, just so everyone knows. I'm just not going to, but I will talk about them just because, like I said, I was only taking that one trade today, and then the other two were just simulator trades. So I mean, you could say I took 3 trades, but really I took 1 and then just 2 simulator trades. And I don't plan on taking anything else, but I will talk about things, answer questions, and if I see a setup, I will discuss it, of course. So if you have questions, go ahead and drop them in the chat. If you haven't done so, please give this stream a like. We've got 11 likes right now. Let's see if we can get a few more. I'm not going to stream as long today because I have to do some stuff where I have to run to town to take care of some business. But tomorrow's stream will be longer than today's. But for today, I'll have a little bit of a shorter stream. Lucky Star, good to have you here. Welcome. If anybody wants to check it out, if you haven't done so already, check out the link tree. It's in the chat. It's also in the description. You can join the free Discord. We've got my Instagram and TikTok are in here. You can go to YouTube, go to my channel, videos, and somewhere down here is the full price action course. Is the actual sections from the paid course is in here. It's almost 4 hours long. So definitely check that out. There's some NinjaTrader setup guides. There's all kinds of things in here, some strategy videos. So check that all out. That's all free resources. And then, of course, if you want to learn my full system, go here, become a price action trader. It's only $99 a month, and you can get all the stuff is included. You can read about it all here. You can watch the short video. There's some new things coming out, like the Freedom Algo NinjaTrader Toolkit and indicators. That's coming out soon. I did a full demo for everybody yesterday to show them all that. If you go to the classroom, you'll see everything in here. There's the weekly Zoom calls, which we had one yesterday and recorded it. The full course is all in here. Let me actually look at something real quick. Yeah, full course is all in here. And you can see this thing is really comprehensive. Like, I can shrink these so you can see. Every one of these expands out, and there's a bunch of modules, and they're all video based. There's transcripts so you can search for everything. Really good resource. And then what I do is every day, and you can see people sharing their wins and stuff like that in here. Me answering questions. This is from 2 hours ago, so we had a question here, and I answered that. And then throughout the session, I actually post the chart updates. So you can see posting the chart updates throughout the session, so you can follow along in real time. And you get access to a premium section of Discord where I post the same chart updates, and we have a whole discussion happening. A lot of resources. We have a live stream tomorrow. The calendar's here. Next week, I'll be on vacation, so I won't be streaming next week, but I'll be streaming tomorrow still. And then, yeah, everything is all in here. So check it all out. Check it all out. All right. So, by the way, we're listening to my music. I put on this song specifically because if you look at this, here, let me change the quality so you can see it. If you look at this video, I'm wearing the same shirt right now. So, whenever I wear this shirt, I always put this song on. Anyway, if you want to check out my music, just look up my name, Nick Bannock. All right. So, no, I do not use RSI. I do not. In fact, I actually have a video on my channel somewhere that specifically talks about why I don't use RSI. Where is it? Here it is. 5 months ago, I made this video about how RSI strategies will get you chopped up. So there's a reason that I don't use that. I don't trade with any indicators besides the 21 EMA. That's the only indicator on here. These other indicators that I have are just like drawing tools, and this is just telling me the size of the bars and like the ATR. So I don't actually, those are really just for me to understand my, like, what the bar is that I'm looking at in a better way, and knowing how big the range of price action is. The 21 EMA is the only actual indicator on my chart, though, that I'm using for like some sort of confluence type of thing. But no, I don't use RSI or any of that stuff. And it's because I don't really think that you need it to understand where good trade setups are. Yeah, yeah. What do you use, Lucky Star? Do you have a trading strategy that's working for you? Just curious. Yeah, I mean, Divi, that's the thing with triple tests. You really need to have an established like range or level to have the confidence on those. For some reason, a lot of people struggle more with range rules than they do with the trend line rules. I don't know why that is. I actually think that sometimes ranges are easier to trade. But the big thing is just understanding if the short-term trend is played out or not. You asked about the two-leg counter extension. I have no idea what that is. What is that? I don't know what it even is. Okay, Lucky. So you use a 2-minute bar RSI. What is RSI doing for you? What do you use it for? Let me know what you use it for. I trade the 2000 tick chart, so every candlestick is 2000 trades. I don't use regular time charts, but just curious, what is RSI actually doing for you in your trading? Like, what is it telling you? What is it, if you're saying it's straight price action, how is RSI part of understanding the price action for you? I think also it's going to be, let me know, how do you enter? Do you enter on like a limit order at an extreme? Like what's your setup and how does that work for you? Because I'm curious and we can talk about it. Okay, so you're saying it's an NT8 plugin that counts pullbacks and plots for you the second leg entry based on price action. Okay, can you tell me is that the actual name of the indicator? Can you tell me the actual name of it? Because I'll look it up. Tell me the actual name of it and I'll take a look. Yeah, see, Lucky, I don't think that it tells you that. I mean, really all the RSI does is calculates math based on the price. So, I mean, wouldn't just drawing the range tell you that? Hey, thanks, Mr. P. Okay, so Lucky, so I'm not positive, Lucky, but what it sounds like to me, what you're doing is like, let's say this candle showed up as oversold, you would enter with a limit order down here. Is that right? And if this was overbought, you'd enter with a limit order up here. Is that kind of what you're doing? And I don't know how to say your name. Guilherme. I think it's Guilherme. Yeah, just in the chat, just let me know the actual name of it so I can look it up and see what it even is. I'll be right back. I gotta go help my daughter with something. Hey, sorry about that. Okay, I feel like I missed a bunch of stuff. All right, hold on. All right, so... Okay, so Lucky, so you use it in a trading range. All right. Hey, how you doing, Elsie? Good to see you. Mr. P, if you're going to show up, because you were here last week, I think. If you're going to show up and start spamming ridiculous stuff, like, then I'm just going to probably kick you out of the stream. Straight up. I mean, like, I'm glad that you're here hanging out and that, like, and whatnot, but, like, I just, you know. All right, let me see here. All right. We're going to trust you here. We're going to try to trust you. All right, so, Lucky, here's the thing. When you have, like, a range, like something like this right here, or like this where we were sideways, I just don't really see, like, yeah, I mean, I guess the thing is, this is the problem, right? This is the problem with those types of indicators. I'll just show you, actually. You know what, let me just show you. I'll pull it up for fun. So let's pull up the ES on TradingView. I'll pull up a 2-minute chart. This is a 2-minute chart. Okay. 2-minute chart. Here, let me turn volume off because it's annoying. All right, and we'll pull up RSI. So here's a 2-minute chart with the RSI. Now, I don't know what settings you use for your RSI. If you want to share what I have, it's on, the default's to 14. So if you want to share what settings you use, then sure, we can look at those. But like, you know, today on the 2-minute chart, basically you don't really have much of a range on the 2-minute chart. You pretty much have a sort of ranging sort of trend line. There isn't really much of a range when you look at it on a 2-minute chart. There's just not a lot of detail there. So you can kind of see that. So I don't see like what the RSI is going to do for you in this situation here. You see that? Like, what is it going to do for you? There's no point of the day where it even got to overbought and oversold besides in the overnight session. I guess right here it got to oversold. There's a divergence there, I guess. There's an RSI divergence here. But that's about it. Like, I don't see anything else. So, like, where would a setup be? I am looking at the trend. But what would be a setup for you here? Like, are you waiting till it comes all the way down into oversold to go long? Or, like, where are you taking a long from? Are you taking longs when it's above this, like, off of this level? Like, down here? Like, I don't see... Yeah, I don't see like what your what's going on there. And also, you end up having a an area. Let's see. I haven't used TradingView in a minute, so give me a second. So we'll take a. You kind of have this zone right here. Where it's basically in a tight range right there. Okay, well, that means that you have 0 trades today then? Because it hasn't been below 30 the whole day. So that would mean that there's 0 trades today besides if you long down here. But why would you long this when you have a downtrend? You can't take a long when you have a downtrend like this, right? I don't see... Why would you take a long while this is still moving like that? You know, like you're taking a huge amount of risk if you take a long anywhere down here. You don't know for sure that trend is going to be over yet. Maybe off the higher low, I guess. You could maybe argue, but... So for me, so looking at your strategy, I don't see any entries today. Because this was not a range right here. This is a trend. This is a kind of a trend, trending like a rangy type thing. But there's no point of the day where the RSI was below 30 or above 70, with the exception of the overnight. And then only once during the regular session down here, which was... And if you took a long there, you probably took a loss, most likely, depending on how... Unless your stop loss was huge. So it doesn't really make sense to me. So anyway, let me know, though. Let me know. Because I don't see any entries today following the rules that you were talking about. Happy to analyze it further, but I just don't see a strategy there that makes any sense for getting entries. Whereas, like, with my strategy, look at all these entries. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 entries today. And I haven't even looked at over here yet because I had to walk away for a second. So I haven't looked to see if there's any entries over here yet. It does look like we are forming a possible channel here. To try to make a new high. At least a high on this channel. So my first target is that level. Whoops. That's my first target. Now, I don't see any really great setups in here on this one, but still, there's at least like 9. Well, Lucky, it's I don't see how it could be hard. I mean, I don't see how it could be hard. Because you told me that you only look at taking longs if it goes below 30, and you said it has to be in a range, right? Well, neither of those things are true. I mean, the only thing true there is it went below a 30 here, but you're not in a range at that point of the day. Like, right, if you were trading this, and this is what your market looked like, that's not a range, that's a downtrend. Bar 11? Okay. Bar 11 counting from where? What do you mean bar 11 counting from where? From here? Let me see. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah. Yeah, but that's not a range. You said that it has to be in a range. That's not a range. That's a downtrend. How is that a range? It's a downtrend. You said it has to be in a range for you to take a trade. And also, even if you took a long there, I mean, like, how... To the right of what? Give me a timestamp. Give me a timestamp of what bar you're talking about. The RSI is only below 30 right here on these candles. And then it taps the 30 right there, but it's not below it on this big bearish one. Go to the right more. There's no... The RSI... The 30 is down here, by the way. Look at the RSI. Like, it's not below 30 on any of this. There's this level, but that's not below 30. The RSI is at a 40 right there. 40.5. So I don't see what that would be doing. And also, like... Yeah. Anyway, I just don't see... I don't see anything following the rules that you just told me. So... and I don't see how this would help you. In this particular case, that was 828, right? 828. So let me go and look at this. That's this area right here. For me, you have a move down, first entry. There's a second entry long there. If this was a good signal bar, there actually would be a long entry there, but we just didn't get it. No, Lucky, I'm talking about your rules that you set. You're talking about the rules. You said that you only take longs if the RSI is below a 30. You just said that. You said that was one of your rules. But the RSI is not below 30 anywhere except for right here. Are you calling this a range? Because this is a trend channel. Right? This is a trend channel. So maybe that's where we're misunderstanding each other. I don't know. this is the bottom of a trend channel, not the bottom of a range. Anyway, I don't know. I would never go long in a steep move like that. Oh, you do it on trends. So just want to make sure I understand. So you're trying to pick the bottom of a downtrend, like with a limit order? Like, isn't that would feel like catching a falling knife? That sounds so dangerous to me. That sounds so dangerous. I mean, like on my chart, that would be longing right here. Like basically longing right here, which in hindsight looks like an amazing opportunity, but it's really like a sketchy thing to do. Because how do you know for sure that that's not going to keep on slamming down? Yeah, it just sounds like picking tops and bottoms. Lucky, what you're saying isn't... Okay, I get what you're saying, but like this being below the 30 on the RSI is when you're looking for longs. I just don't know what you're talking about there. So like where would you set your limit order? How would you know that you're picking the right spot to set your limit order? I mean, to me, you're catching the falling knife, and once in a while you're going to get a home run where you catch the low and it's amazing. But a lot of times, hey, anyway. All right, yeah, sorry. I'm not trying to be rude. I'm sorry. I just am trying to understand what's going on here. I'm not trying to be rude, but I'm just trying to understand how that goes. But anyway, I'm a price action trader, so I don't really trade that stuff. And yeah, Matt, you're right. If he's profitable with it, more power to you. More power to you. To me, it seems like a super risky way to trade. But hey, you know. So we have a short term down here. We just made a new high. So the up channel has played out over here. Now we're basically, the next targets are the top of the range and the all-time high. There we go. Hey, well, that's cool, man. That's cool. But, yeah, that's cool. If you got a strategy that works for you, that's great. One question I have for you is why even, if you have a strategy like that works super well, I just am curious, why even bother checking anything else out, right? Why even bother? Well, we're at the bottom of a trend here, so, and we'll see what happens. There's a new high here. This is forming a first entry. We don't actually have a first entry there. There might be a hidden second entry long that forms. There's only a 4-tick bar right now. It's a pretty small bar, so we'll see. Oh, thanks for that. Thanks for that. Yeah, Das, sometimes it's cool to look at other stuff that people are doing just to analyze what it is and just to talk about it, just for discussion. Well, yeah, I mean, there's a channel here, right? So price action tells us that we're probably going to bounce. But I don't enter a limit order on a channel because how many times has it happened to you where you have, like, you don't know when a channel is going to break for sure, right? So if you just have a limit order sitting on a channel like this, sometimes it makes you a genius, right? Because it bounces right off of your level, you have a tight stop loss, you get this big trade. But sometimes it just completely dumps through it, and you just take a loss on those. So I understand. I used to trade a strategy like that. I used to use linear regression and price action combined, and I used to try to catch extremes with limit orders like that on channels and whatnot. But like what I found is that it was great when it worked, but there's a lot of times where you just take repeated losses because it just smacks straight through the level. So I like to wait until we have confirmation, enter with the momentum, and then get my scalp in a runner. I just think it's way, way better. That's the way I look at it. When you say you're trading bar for bar using ATR, can you elaborate on what you mean by how that affects your take profits and what you're targeting and whatnot? IK, it sounds like maybe, are you using like some sort of Al Brooks system? Is that what you're talking about? Yeah, that's cool. If you guys like RSI, that's cool. Not for me. My time zone is Pacific, if you're asking me. I'm not sure. I'm in Pacific time. So US Pacific, you can see the time at the top of my screen. It's 9:23 in the morning where I am. So my understanding, so Lucky, so if this were what you were doing, what's your entry then? Right? So what's your entry here? You just put your limit order sitting right there like that? And then what? You put your stop loss one tick lower? I'm just trying to understand what you even mean. Or do you wait until this bar closes and enter up here? Because it's not computing. Yeah, I have the 21, 14, and 7 period ATR up here. So I do use the ATR to calculate what my take profits are as well. But I think where I'm not sure of is I'm not sure of what where your entry actually would be here. Where your stop loss goes. It sounds like your stop loss goes below this green bar. So does that mean you wait for the bar to close before you enter? Okay, so you're waiting for the bar to close. Like this one right here that has the number 10 under it. You're waiting for that bar to close before you enter, but your stop loss goes below it. Is that what you're saying? If so, what's your entry? Do you just like set a limit order in a random spot hoping that it comes back? And then with the ATR, what's your target? So if the ATR right now is at 2 points, what's your target? I don't do it exactly like the way that Al does it. I do a little different. I do have the Al Brooks books, though. I do have them. But it's a little bit different the way that I do it. I trade the 2,000 tick chart instead of the 2-minute. And I don't necessarily... It's not... I do look at each bar, but I do it a little different. Okay, so just so I understand. So you're going long... Let me make sure I understand. So you're going long right there, 1 tick above the red bar, and your stop loss is here, 1 tick below the green bar, right? Is that what you're doing? So if you were in a trade, it looks something like this. So is this like how your trade would be set up? Your stop loss would be down here. Your order would be up here. Is that right? Okay, what's your take profit on that? If the ATR is... Right now, if the 21... He just... Well, Peter, he just said... Yeah, I think he said... No, I think he said... Let me see. I'm kind of... No, he said the risk would be at the bottom of the long green bar. So I think this is what he's saying. Okay, so you would target the ATR, which technically would be 2 points. So from the high of this candle, you would target 2 points. So right there. So that would be your target. I see what you're saying. Okay. So honestly, what you're doing, I don't know where the RSI comes into play for you there, but what you're doing is actually very similar to what we do already. So this by the way, is a hidden second entry setup. So this is a setup that would follow our criteria anyway. Right here, right? This is what I would call a hidden second entry long off of the key entry point. So we have a trend down here, but when this went low and tried to go higher on a smaller time frame, that would be like a hidden first entry. And then this makes a higher low second entry. It's like a hidden second entry. This is a possible setup. We would do the same thing. I'd enter 1 tick above the bar. Stop loss would go 1 tick below. However, the way I would do it is I usually will scalp 80% of my position for half the ATR, and then I'll leave a runner. That's the way I do it. So a little different. But it's honestly, we're pretty much doing the same sort of thing. So I'm glad we cleared that up. Because originally the way you were describing it, it sounded like you were just setting random limit orders to catch like lows, like catch falling knives. The way that you described it initially, that's what it sounded like to me. But it doesn't sound like that's what you're doing. So it actually sounds pretty similar to the way I trade. Well, yeah, we're all looking at the same thing, right? We're all looking at the same... We're all just looking at a chart with price on it. So we just made a new all-time high. So there you go. New all-time high has been achieved on the ES. Just right there. Nah, it's all good, man. I mean, sorry if I came off annoyed. I don't know if you were here for the beginning of the stream, but I mentioned that today I was a little bit off because I woke up this morning to my dog had vomited all over the house. So the way I had to start my morning was by cleaning that up and taking him for a walk. And I didn't even get to the chart until like 10 minutes before the open. It was a whole thing. Matt's trying to have a goal celebration. I didn't even set goal targets today. I don't think so because I'm probably going to have to go soon. Tomorrow we'll set regular goal targets. But there we go. That's a new all-time high on the ES. That's a new all-time high right there. Yeah, it was a crazy morning. So today I only took one trade. I only took one trade on my regular cash accounts right here. Hold on, someone's calling me. Can't decline that. All right, I had one trade right there. That's the only trade there. Oh, I just got a connection loss message. So something weird just happened with my connection. So sorry about that. Oh, it just reconnected on me. Hold on. Let me reload the data. Because sometimes if a connection disappears like that, it gets messed up. Oh, yeah, dog seems fine. He's laying next to me. Oh, okay, cool, man. Yeah, I didn't... That's all good. That's all good. All right. Divvy, can I review the triple test? Hold on, let me move the trend line because I just had to refresh my data, so it always moves all my trend lines into the wrong spot. That's close enough. I think that's close enough. All right. 737. You took a triple test. What? All right. Hang on one second. All right, I got you. Okay. I don't see a triple test at 730. Oh, right here? Wait. Can I Oh, divvy, yeah. So there's no trade here. 737 is right there. So I don't see it. There's no triple test there. All right, let me explain. So let me draw the low. This isn't a triple test to me because this closed below. It's only a triple test to me if the closes are on or above the line. So to me, this isn't a triple test. Basically, it would be a triple test. It would be a triple test if this one came down and actually touched that line, and that this was a test, this was a close at or above, and then this was an actual test. So it's not actually a triple test, in my opinion. Yeah, so if you move it up like that, it's not a triple test to me, because then this would become like a failed breakout sort of thing. It's only a triple, yeah, so... Well, yeah, there's touches, but they're not touches. This is a close below. So I don't use them as just touches. It has to be, like, for me, for it to be a triple test, it has to be like this, right? So you see how this one is a close at the level, and this is a third touch? Well, that's a triple test to me. Or like this here, these are triple tests. There's no close above. If there was some big candle that closed above the level up here somewhere, then that's, yeah, technically a touch of an area. But see, the problem is with using that as a triple test, then that would mean that I could just draw lines anywhere and go, okay, well, there's 3 touches there, so this is a triple test. You see what I'm saying? Like, when you're looking at triple tests, in my opinion, you want to, like, or here's a good example, right? If I just draw this like this actually is a triple test. 1, 2, there's a third test there. That is a triple test. But if I tried to draw this like up here, this is just like randomly a level. So hopefully that makes sense what I'm trying to explain there. This is breaking down now. Draw from this here. So we broke through the channel there. Alright, everybody. I am probably going to have to run here. Is there any final questions before I head out? Let me know. Let me know. Any final questions? Anything else real quick before I head out? I'll be back tomorrow. So I'll schedule the stream for tomorrow right after this one. And then tomorrow's stream should be fun. It'll be the last stream that I do for about a week because I'm going to be out next week on vacation. So next week I won't be trading or streaming or anything. I got some videos that I can release though that I recorded. So I will release some stuff on YouTube most likely, but I won't have any live streams next week. Tomorrow, same time as always, 8:30 a.m. Pacific time. I always start at the same time. If you haven't done so already, just subscribe to the channel. You can put your notifications on and you'll see it. And right after the stream, I'll set up the one for tomorrow. So you'll be able to like hit the alert thing to let you know when it's going to be starting and everything. But hey, good discussion today. Good discussion today. All right, everybody. Thanks for the time today. I appreciate you all. I'm going to wrap up now, and I'll be back tomorrow. I got to go run some errands and everything. My dog seems fine. He's just sleeping next to me right now. He's been in here this whole stream, so he seems fine. But pretty wild morning. Pretty wild morning. But thanks, everybody. I'll talk to you soon. If you want to learn more about what I do, just check the description. Check the live chat. It's all in there. It looks like we're getting a second entry long here. Not the best signal bar in the world, and there's an inside bar, so you can't take it anyway. But just be careful when you're near all-time highs like this. It can always get a little dicey. But I will see you all soon. and hope everybody has a good rest of the day.